From the very beginning of the war, the Nazi regime plundered the wealth of the nations it conquered. Gold reserves, jewelry, art collections, and cultural treasures were seized from banks, museums, and private homes, especially from Jewish families who were deported to concentration camps. The Nazis saw this not only as profit, but as ideology. They sought to erase the cultural identity of those they conquered while enriching their own empire. Entire divisions of soldiers were assigned to confiscate valuables. By 1945, the amount of stolen property was beyond calculation, billions in today's dollars. As the war turned against Germany, the question became not how to seize more wealth, but how to hide it. Silesia, in what is now southwestern Poland, became one of the last regions under firm German control in 1945. It was a land of forests, mountains, and mines, and crucially, it contained a network of tunnels and underground facilities built by the Nazis during the war. These tunnels were part of a massive, secret construction effort known as Project Ries, meaning giant in German. Ries was a complex of underground bunkers, railways, and chambers carved into the Owl Mountains. Historians believe it was intended to house weapons factories, research facilities, and perhaps even a new headquarters for Hitler himself. But construction was never completed. As the Red Army advanced from the east, thousands of forced laborers were executed, and the entrances to many tunnels were sealed. Into this maze of forgotten tunnels, legend says, a train vanished, carrying the last treasures of the Third Reich. The story begins in early 1945. The city of Breslau, now called Wrocław, was a vital Nazi stronghold in eastern Germany. As Soviet forces closed in, German officials ordered that valuable assets be evacuated westward. Witnesses later claimed that a train, heavily guarded by SS troops, was loaded with crates of gold, artwork, and military documents. The train reportedly left Breslau bound for Waldenburg. It was seen passing through small towns before disappearing near the foothills of the Owl Mountains. Then nothing, no record of its arrival, no sign of its cargo, only silence. And when the Soviets finally captured the region, they found no trace of the mysterious train. After the war, rumors of a lost Nazi gold train began to circulate among locals. Villagers whispered of explosions in the mountains, tunnels sealed overnight, and SS soldiers seen digging near the railway line. Soviet troops reportedly searched the area, dynamiting tunnel entrances and removing crates of unknown content. But no official documents confirmed any discovery. By the 1950s, the story had become legend, part of local folklore passed from one generation to the next. Still, there were those who believed that beneath the forests and hills of Wałbrzych lay one of the greatest hidden treasures in history. Decades later, declassified documents revealed the scale of Project Ries. Dozens of tunnels, underground chambers, and rail lines had been built in the Owl Mountains between 1943 and 1945. Some of these passages were large enough to accommodate trains or armored vehicles. When Polish and Soviet engineers later explored the region, they found partially completed chambers filled with rubble and collapsed ceilings. It was clear that the Nazis had been building something massive. But why? Some historians believe the tunnels were intended for underground weapons production. Others argue they were meant to hide Germany's stolen treasures from advancing Allied troops. Whatever the truth, the existence of these tunnels gave the legend of the gold train a plausible foundation. Throughout the Cold War, the Communist government of Poland tightly controlled access to the region. Yet stories of the gold train persisted. In the 1980s, local treasure hunters began to explore the tunnels secretly, armed with shovels, metal detectors, and maps drawn from rumor. Some claimed to find sealed passageways and evidence of Nazi rail lines buried deep underground. A few even claimed to have seen gold bars and crates before being chased away by the authorities. But no official proof was ever presented. And so, the legend endured, waiting for the right moment to resurface. That moment came in 2015. Two men, a Polish explorer named Piotr Koper and a German treasure hunter named Andreas Richter, announced that they had found what they believed to be the lost Nazi gold train. They claimed to have used ground-penetrating radar near the city of Wałbrzych, close to a railway line between Wrocław and Wałbrzych, and detected the outline of a long, metal object buried deep underground, roughly 100 meters long, matching the size of a train. Their claim set off an international frenzy. Media outlets from around the world descended on Poland. The Polish government declared the site a restricted military zone and deployed security forces to guard it. Excavation teams were assembled, and the world waited breathlessly for confirmation. Would the fabled Nazi gold train finally emerge from the earth? In the summer of 2016, official excavations began at the suspected site near Wałbrzych's Kilometer 65 railway. The area was cordoned off, and geologists, engineers, and historians joined forces with the Polish military. Weeks of digging followed. But as the excavators drilled deeper, anticipation turned to frustration. There was no metal train, no treasure, no gold. The radar readings that had inspired the discovery were eventually explained as a natural geological formation, layers of rock and soil that mimicked the shape of a buried object. The operation ended with no physical evidence of a train, only disappointment, controversy, and renewed skepticism. In the aftermath of the failed excavation, experts examined the evidence again. Historians pointed out that no wartime records of a gold-laden train leaving Breslau had ever been found. The Polish Geological Institute released a report confirming that radar data had been misinterpreted. Skeptics argued that the story was nothing more than a post-war myth, fueled by greed, nostalgia, and wishful thinking. But not everyone was convinced. Some researchers insisted that the train may still exist, not at that particular location, but somewhere else in the vast network of tunnels beneath Silesia. The argument remains unresolved. Over the years, several theories have emerged about what might have happened to the supposed gold train. One theory suggests that the Nazis did bury it, sealing it inside a tunnel near Wałbrzych before retreating. Another claims that the Soviets found it in 1945, removed its contents in secret, and covered up the discovery. Some even believe that the train never existed, that the story was fabricated by locals who saw Nazi trucks moving equipment and assumed it was treasure. There are also darker theories that the train contained not gold, but war crimes evidence, such as records of concentration camps or secret weapons research, deliberately hidden to prevent its discovery. Each theory adds a new layer to the mystery, and none can be proven. Despite the failed search, the legend refuses to die. In the years after 2016, new treasure hunters returned to the region, armed with better technology and renewed hope. Tourism in Wałbrzych exploded as visitors came to see the place where the Nazi gold train sleeps. Local hotels sold out, museums hosted exhibits, and souvenir shops cashed in on the excitement. Even though nothing had been found, the myth itself had become valuable, a story that drew the world's attention and revived a forgotten corner of history. Beyond the treasure and tunnels, the legend of the Nazi gold train carries a deeper meaning. It represents the vast crimes and moral collapse of the Third Reich, a regime built on theft, exploitation, and destruction. For the victims of Nazi plunder, the gold train is not a fairy tale. It is a reminder of what was lost and may never be recovered. And for modern treasure hunters, it symbolizes the eternal human fascination with mystery, greed, and hope. The belief that somewhere beneath our feet, the past still hides its secrets. So, what do we actually know about the Nazi gold train? We know that Germany looted Europe's wealth. We know that secret trains carried treasures across the continent during the war. We know that Silesia was filled with underground tunnels and that many were sealed as the war ended. But we do not know, and may never know, whether a specific train loaded with gold ever vanished into those tunnels. No definitive documents, photographs, or recovered artifacts have ever proven the train's existence. Yet the story endures because it lies at the intersection of truth and imagination, the space where history becomes legend. Today, the hills of Wałbrzych are quiet again. The forests have reclaimed the scars of war. The tunnels remain sealed, dark, and silent. But the legend of the gold train continues to whisper through the trees. Every few years, new explorers arrive, some scientists, some dreamers, each hoping to be the one who finally uncovers the truth. Maybe the train lies buried beneath tons of rock. Maybe it was found long ago and quietly removed, or maybe it never existed at all. The truth is hidden, not only in the earth, but in the choices people made amid the chaos of a collapsing empire. The story of the Nazi gold train of Poland is more than a treasure hunt. It is a mirror reflecting the greed, fear, and desperation of a world at war. It reminds us that history is not only written in books or battles. Sometimes it lies buried beneath our feet, waiting for those brave or foolish enough to dig. And perhaps that is the real treasure. Not the gold or the jewels, but the search itself, the endless human desire to uncover the truth, even when the truth may never be found. Because in the tunnels beneath Poland, in the myths of Silesia, and in the hearts of those still searching, the Nazi gold train continues to roll through the fog of history, forever lost, forever sought, forever mysterious.